Can you buy an apartment building with FHA financing? And what I'm saying is, can you buy a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex using FHA financing? Hi everyone, it's Juan Huizar, president of Sage Real Estate, and today we're going to be talking about FHA financing and does it work when it comes to multifamily units, 3 to 4, or even a duplex. It's very common to hear podcasts, to read books, and they'll always say this: for a first-time investor, take advantage of FHA financing and buy your first 4-unit building. Great advice, but can you pull it off? Now, what is FHA financing? Well, let me tell you what FHA is. So that's the Federal Housing Administration, and what they're doing is they're insuring the mortgage so that it allows an investor or a homeowner to buy the property with 3.5% down versus 20% down. So you can imagine it's easier to come up with 3.5% down than it is 20. So in terms of saving up money, it's just an easier entry, and then you're able to borrow more. It's a great program, but can it work? Does it work in the city of Long Beach? And so in 2016 through 2019, there's been 0 FHA loans on a 4-unit building, 0. I was a little shocked by that also, because I thought, well, there's got to be a handful of them, but there's been none. That would tell me that it's impossible. However, in 2020, there were 4 loans, FHA loans issued for fourplex properties. That tells us that it is possible. It's rare, but it is possible. So why does everyone talk about it if it's so difficult to achieve? And this is one misconception that I think that I commonly deal with is, why can't we pull this off? Why are there not more FHA loans when it comes to 4-unit buildings when we know it's so popular? It's in the books. Everyone talking on podcasts, interviews are like, this is the one way to do it. But why did we go through 4 years without a single sale with this type of financing? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a thing called the self-sufficiency test, required by FHA. In fact, it's called the FHA self-sufficiency test. When you're looking at a 4-unit building, how it's supposed to work: they're going to send out an appraiser. He's going to be FHA approved. The appraiser is going to calculate the market income for the 4 units. FHA will take that income that the appraiser says that those units could command in that area based on a rent survey. Okay, sometimes it is subjective. Then FHA is going to look at what's called as PITI. So we're talking payment, interest, taxes, insurance, and in this case, mortgage insurance, because that's going to be an additional fee. They're going to take that rent from the appraiser, but they're not going to give you full credit for it. And I think that is the biggest misconception. They're going to look at that rent and they're going to give you 75% of it. Now that 75% has to cover the PITI. Now in most cases, the properties are considered non-sufficient. It doesn't meet this requirement. So no matter what lender you're going through, it has to meet the self-sufficiency test, okay? So again, this is all really dependent upon what the appraiser says the market rent should be for that property. You deduct 25% of that, and will that cover the entire expense for the property? And that's a really difficult benchmark to meet, almost impossible. So there's some lenders who really understand this. There's other lenders that have done FHA loans for single family homes and they think it's possible, but then we run into issues. And so oftentimes we will list a fourplex and we get offers FHA, and I always want to talk to the lender because I want the lender to explain to me how they're going to make sure they get through the self-sufficiency test. So the program is great. We love it. It does give a lot of folks a window or an opportunity to purchase your first investment property. But when it comes to 3 to 4 units, there is a big hurdle that is really outside of our control and really comes down to the expenses, and does 75% of the income have the ability to cover that? And 2016, 0 sales. 2017, 0. 2018, 0. 2019, 0. So for anyone who's thinking that this is a possibility, it is, but it is like less than 1% chance that we're going to pull this off. Other cities, other areas, maybe their price ranges are different, but here specifically in the city of Long Beach, it's going to be very difficult. We just want to shed light that it's a misconception that it's an easy thing to get. It's a misconception that anyone could be approved. but there is a small chance. And so if you want to learn more, please let us know. We do have lenders that we work with that understand this well. We encourage you to certainly learn more. This is a good opportunity. Now, one thing that's important, the self-sufficiency test when it comes to FHA applies to 3-4 units only. What that means is that we could look at a duplex all day long. So 2 units, you could buy it with 3.5 down, and guess what? The self-sufficiency test does not apply to a duplex. If someone wants to take advantage of getting this really big loan with very little down, which everyone wants that, right? Everyone wants a big loan with very little down, so I don't blame you. It's much easier to get into a duplex because we don't have that requirement. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's gonna be much, much more difficult to make it meet with their guidelines when it's 3 to 4 units. Truly, there's not a lot of properties selling FHA when it's 3 to 4 units. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. And for future videos, make sure to subscribe. That's it. I'll see you next time.